Hello and welcome to Week 5 of St. Joseph football here in Westfield. I'm Ben Chowder, joined today by Saket Fedori. And Saket, St. Joe's has yet another tough matchup this week. Westfield is 3-0 in their last 3 games. What is it going to take for the Falcons to get a win here in Westfield?
Yeah, and the Falcons have done really well in away games so far, and I think the best thing to do to win is go back to that rushing attack and that play action style and the motion in the backfield. I think if St. Joe sticks to what they've done so far earlier in this year, they should have no problem getting through this game.
Jeremy DeCarlo muffs the kickoff as St. Joe's receives, so it'll be St. Joe's starting off at their own 16-yard line.
Yeah, and there's some key rotations going on in the starting lineup today. Obviously, Rodney Fanning is not going to start this game. He'll be in here a little later, and so will Omari. Omari is going to be playing strictly offense today. He's not going to be playing safety like he usually does, coming off of an injury.
Yeah, and it'll be Andre Gordon coming in for Omari on that safety for the defensive side, and Ryan Lehner, number 70, filling in for Rodney Fanning, at least for a little while. DeGennaro under center. JoJo Huntley.
And another thing to bring up is that Jason Ridges might be starting on this drive, according to some of the sources on the field. So this is his first time starting, as a Falcon. So hopefully pressure doesn't get to him, and hopefully he could stay composed, filling in such a big role with Omari.
It's a few key changes here for the Falcons. We'll see how it plays out for St. Joe's. They come up here on second down. It's going to be DeGennaro under center once again. No wide receivers out wide. DeCaro in motion. Flag on the play. St. Joe's is pointing for an offsides. And it will be an offsides on Westfield. So a massive call there for St. Joe's early on in the game.
Yeah, DeGennaro just got that lineman jumping a little bit. I think, another thing to look out for is that this is Westfield's homecoming game, so they might have a little bit more crowd support today. And another thing is that they have a huge team. They have so many people on the sidelines, so maybe fatigue is more of a factor for the Falcons today than Westfield.
They really could, and for St. Joe's in the past too, those cramps have really got to them. So we'll see if they become an issue here today. Car on motion once again. It's going to be another handoff that goes nowhere. Westfield defense is all over that, and you start to wonder how much Rodney Fanning is really having an impact on this St. Joe's line, just seeing how the run game has been going early.
Yeah, and he's such a pivotal piece for this team, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, he's that huge run stuffer that could also get to the quarterback with ample time, and in the rushing attack, he really opens up a lot of holes for the rushers, and that's why this running attack has been so lethal this year.
Definitely a lot of gaping holes for St. Joe's, as Will Kwiatkowski would like to say. It's going to be a handoff to Jeremy DeCarlo once again after gaining the first down on the last play.
So, Ben, last week, coming off that interception and that game-winning drive for Daniel DeGennaro, do you think, that's going to impact, his the way he's attacking today?
You kind of hope it doesn't, but I think it kind of has to. It's a first-year quarterback, and you lose last game off the interception, so you're going to take a hit to the confidence. But if you're a coach or if you're another player on that team, you want to try and make sure he's still as comfortable as he was in those first 3 weeks. DeGennaro going to drop back here. Pass will be complete to Magliacano. It'll be a first down for the Falcons. Christian Magliacano on the catch.
Yeah, and he's also a really important piece for the Falcons, both offensively and defensively. On offense, he lines up at fullback, lines up at tight end. In defense, he's all over that defensive line. So he's really important for the Falcons. And when he's going in, when he establishes a connection with Daniel DeGennaro, this team is really hard to stop.
He has the most catches on the St. Joe's team right now, so clearly a favorite target for DeGennaro on the offensive side of things. It's going to be one wide receiver set. Andre Gordon in at the outside right. DeGennaro, the pitch to Ridges. And Ridges will get a nice gain of 3 or 4.
So like we said, this is Ridges' first game starting at running back in the place of Omari. But Omari should be back the next drive, so hopefully Ridges takes advantage of this opportunity he's getting.
Yeah, and maybe that's when we see St. Joe's have a bit more energy and move the ball a lot quicker than they are now. But still a very nice drive for the Falcons early on.
Let's see if the end follows him
here. DeGennaro under center, 2 running back set. DeCaro set out wide. Handoff is going to be DeCaro in motion. Jeremy DeCaro.
DeCaro is the ball carrier.
A couple yards short of the first down there on 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and Ben, one of the most unique parts of this Coach Tracy offense has been the motion in the backfield. I mean, we've seen multiple people motion in each play. Sometimes we see, Huntley and DeCaro going one way, and then Omari going the other. So all that misdirection is really confusing, especially at the high school level when there's not, as established communication.
No, it definitely is, and we've seen them do the same motion but have completely different plays. So that's really where the defense gets thrown off. DeGennaro under center again. Huntley in motion. DeGennaro rolling out to the left, set to pass. DeGennaro the lefty with the pass. It's going to be incomplete, intended for Jeremy DeCaro. It's going to be 4th and 3. Interesting play here for the Falcons. If I'm them, I think you go for it right here.
Yeah, I think the Falcons have done a really good job of going for it when there's been a chance, but obviously they're not going to go for it here. But the Falcons have gone for it a lot, and it's resulted in a lot of confidence as a team, and a lot of tempo and pace going their way.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the comparison of the confidence you have in your punter and the confidence you have in your offense, because 4th and 3 at the 50-yard line, it's really a toss-up for whatever the team wants to do. But we'll see what Huseth has in him. It's a low snap.
Yeah, and the punter Tyler Huseth was under fire.
There by Huseth. Good roll. And it falls out.
And the Falcons are going to get it.
And recovered by St. Joe's. So a massive play for the Falcons on the punt there.
Yeah.
A low snap to start off and a decent punt. And it gets muffed by Westfield.
Yeah, Ben, I was just saying, after last week, Tyler Hughes has been under a little bit of fire, especially with the field goal competition during the pep rally. A kid hit a 50-yard field goal. Shout out Robbie Kenyon. But yeah, he's been under a lot of fire, and he's had his ups and downs with the season. But that's a great start to the game.
That was a great punt, but yeah, I mean you can't give him the credit for the punch out too. That was a great punch out by the return team by St. Joe's. DeGennaro under center once again. DeCaro in motion.
Omari's on the field for the first time.
Yeah, so I guess technically this would be the second offensive drive of the game since they decided to punt, but this offense came off the field for right back in there. And Amari Jones is set to get involved in this game.
Yeah, and especially in the goal line, that's been his area of the field that they've continuously gone to him. Just like you say, the bell cow back of this team, and just he gets all the goal line carries.
Yeah, with this 3-headed dragon that St. Joe's has, you just love to see the different types of running backs they have. Amari is that bell cow back. DeCaro can make and miss, and Huntley is just incredibly fast. So just having all 3 of those qualities is massive for St. Joe's. As Amari Jones is going to get another pitch here off to the right. And a flag is on the field, and it looks like it's going to be against St. Joe's. And it will be. Looks like a holding on the Falcons.
Yeah, and it looks like Rodney is also on the field, so he was out for the first drive as well, and now he's back on. It's good to see for the Falcons, considering how much of an impact he makes for this team.
Yeah, and obviously St. Joe's has those 3 running backs, which are pivotal to the run game, but underratedly, people always forget about those guys down in the trenches. And Rodney Fanning is arguably that leader of that O-line, so having him back for this run game is massive. But St. Joe's is going to move back to the 20-yard line after that penalty.
Yeah, and back to talking about the O-line, they've just been, can I say, dominant this year. They've been great, and they're the reason why this, like you said, 3-headed dragon has been rolling. I mean, without them, this offense is going nowhere.
Yeah, DeGennaro has ample time in the pocket when they decide to pass, and in the run game, which has been so prominent here for St. Joe's, it's cleared just the holes that they create for their running backs. DeGennaro going to drop back here. Daniel DeGennaro airing it out to Jeremy DeCaro, and the pass is a bit too far. Looked like a good one there from DeGennaro, but DeCaro just could not get under it.
Yeah, I think that was a great play call. I mean, it was open. DeGennaro just wasn't able to connect with this guy, but that's a play that I'm not really disappointed with.
Yeah, no, it was a great play call, and you'll have to see St. Joe's let DeGennaro air the ball out. Like I was saying, you love to see DeGennaro have the ability to air it out because he has that arm in him. But it's going to be a 3rd and goal for those on the 19-yard line of Westfield. DeGennaro going to have to air it out here. It's going to be a quick screen pass to Magliacano. Christian Magliacano. That's a great gain of about 14 yards for Christian Magliacano. And you got a 4th and goal on the 4-yard line. So, Kev, what are you doing here?
If I'm the Falcons, I'm going for it. I mean, worst comes to worst, Westfield takes the ball back at what? Inside the 5-yard line. So I think it's a win-win for the Falcons. And, if they do score, it's a huge momentum boost early in this game.
And with how many turnovers your defense has forced, having Westfield deep in their own territory on their own 3 or 4, you can argue that might be more valuable than the 3 points they possibly could be getting.
Definitely, and if they were to get a stop there, that could do a lot for the confidence of this Westfield team, and in a game where both teams are 3-1, that could be pivotal. But obviously, Coach Tracy elects to kick it, and it's good. So 3-0 start for the Falcons after that muffed punt.
Kick is up and good, like you said, by Tyler Huseth. That is only his 2nd field goal of the year. His previous one was of 23 yards, and this one was about the same distance. So 2 for 2 is Tyler Huseth on field goals. And we're going to take a short break as we wait for St. Joe's and their first kickoff of the game. And we are back for the kickoff by the Falcons. And so, Keth, what I want to bring up, this next game for St. Joe's is going to be at home. It's going to be at Edison, so it's a great matchup just there alone. But also the first ever Friday Night Lights game for St. Joe's. A lot of festivities going on beforehand. We will have our own college game day type show going on before. So what are you expecting from that weekend and the game?
Yeah, this team is just amped to play in that the Lights game at home, and I can say it's not just the team who's excited. Everyone around campus is excited. So if you go to St. Joe's, you better be there.
And it was a great kick by Huseth. Got all the way to the goal line. And Tyler Huseth having a nice start to this game. But yeah, like you're saying, it's going to be an awesome experience for the first ever Friday Night Lights at St. Joe's. Like I said, it's a great game against Edison. So I'm really amped up for that game, and it should be a good one.
Definitely, and there's going to be a tailgate before the game. So obviously, if football is not your thing, you can still come and have fun at the tailgate.
Exactly. Westfield offense going to head onto the field, led by Trey Brown. Also worth mentioning, a Maryland lacrosse commit is Trey Brown, so an all-around athlete.
Yeah. So obviously you were talking about lacrosse, and they have multiple D1 commits for lacrosse, and I don't know how that exactly translates to football, but these guys are athletes, and they can make anything happen on any given play. So if you're the Falcons, you can't exactly just give it up from the beginning. So now it's gonna be Westfield. Trey Brown receives the snap, drops back, looks for his man number 3. That's Peter Meixner, not able to get there in time.
Yeah, it was a good play call. He was open on the coverage was Gordon and Kelowna, but just couldn't get the pass there. Was Trey Brown. Only has 200 passing yards on the year, but he does have 218 rushing yards. So that's going to be something St. Joe's has to watch this entire game. I'm going to look for guys like Will Almasi and Magliacano to try and contain him in that pocket.
Yeah, and like you brought up with the D1 lacrosse commit, I was saying, I don't know how it exactly translates to football, but these guys are just pure athletes. So, it's definitely something to plan for if you're the Falcons.
It's going to be a screen pass there for Westfield and a great tackle by Jeremy DeCaro at the line of scrimmage, forcing a punt for Westfield.
That was a great start for the Falcons defense as well. Obviously, their special teams unit got a stop earlier. It was kind of weird. It was a fumble or a muff. I couldn't really tell from up here, but great start for the Falcons defense and special teams.
Yeah, really nice start for St. Joe's 3-0. They're getting the ball back here in the first quarter. Dylan Ragg on the punt. It's going to be a fake by Ragg, Magliacano, or Masella on the coverage. Dylan Ragg finds a hole. Dylan Ragg still going at the opposing 45-yard line. That's going to be a major first down for Westfield on the fake punt. And Saket, that was just about to bring it up as they were snapping that ball. Dylan Ragg is an all-around athlete. He is the leading rusher on this team with 470 rushing yards, and he just so happens to be the punter for this team. So, I mean, you got to be watching out for those fake punts, but on that case, St. Joe's just didn't expect it, and what a play by Westfield.
Yeah, and I think the defense is just as shocked as we are. I think they were expecting to have the ball at this point.
And speaking of lacrosse, Dylan Ragg, a Robert Morris lacrosse commit, that's D1, and he gets the handoff here for a gain of about 2.
Yeah, and if Westfield does end up scoring here, that this could be very worrisome for the Falcons. They haven't really started down this year too much, and last week when they started down 7-0, they weren't really exactly able to come back easily.
It's really fortunate because we were just commending St. Joe's for an incredible defensive drive, and unfortunately they gave up that on a special teams play, and they have to come right back on the field. So the quarterback option there by Trey Brown is going to get the first down for Westfield.
Yeah, and when you look at Trey Brown, he has all the makings of a Josh Allen type guy. I mean, he's big and he's really really physical on the run. So if you're the Falcons, there's obviously some weapons in the receiving core, but you got to be really careful of that guy.
Yeah,
receiving the snap.
I think the number 17 helps a little bit with the blue uniforms. Definitely helps the visual. But no, you're definitely right. Just having the mobility like he has is incredible. And like we're saying before, all-around athlete, Maryland lacrosse commit. Here's the handoff there to Dylan Ragg. And it's going to be a good stop by St. Joe's. And Magliacano is on the tackle there alongside Bellavia.
Short game of the play, 2nd and about 8.
So 2nd and 8 now for Westfield. St. Joe's, do you want to see Westfield try and air that ball out more? But they're really not a passing team. So do you think you have to air it out here or just stick to the run game?
I mean, obviously airing it out would be somewhat of a surprise, but I wouldn't be, and they do air it out, but it's broken
they
up.
air it out, and a great pass break up there by Tyler Colonna, the junior for St. Joe's, the leader in interceptions as well, has 2 on the year. So Tyler Colonna on the stop there, forcing a 3rd and 8. Westfield on the St. Joe's 34-yard line. So 3rd and 8. Likely we see another pass here, but it is single coverage on the outsides. And Brown will take the handoff, and he'll be tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and another thing we mentioned with this defense earlier was that Omari, who's usually the safety for this team, and also that running back, is not playing defense at all this week. Instead, we have Andre Gordon at safety. So I don't know how that impacts, our workings of the team specifically, but obviously it's a huge hole to fill.
And it looks like they're still playing great. It was just a 1-yard run Trey Brown, but they will be going for it on this 4th and 7. Massive play for both teams here. Flag on the play. St. Joe's supporting towards Westfield, and that's going to be a false start, and that should bring out the kick or punt team, depending on how much they trust their kicker, Henry Hitchman, or how much they trust Dylan Ragg at punter.
Yeah, and we'll see what kind of trickery we see on this play, if there is any. But
it will be a punt, but I would say it's very unlikely that we get 2 straight fake punts, but you never know. Jeremy DeCaro set on the return, and Dylan Ragg looked like it was a fake, but it was just running to the right.
It's kind of like a option, kind of. He's looking and scouting if the run is available, and then he's just punting it away.
It's weird to have your punter make those decisions, but then again, you're arguably best player on the team, so definitely nothing wrong with that and letting Dylan Ragg decide it. It is weird to see, though. It's kind of like an RPO on the punt. This St. Joe's offense going to head back onto the field. one drive, and they got a field goal earlier thanks to Tyler Hughes. We're going to see if they can repeat that here on this drive.
Yeah, and if I'm the Falcons, I'm looking to push the pace more a little bit with some more play action passes or some more dropbacks.
It's only going to be Magliacano out wide. DeCaro once again in motion, handoff to Jeremy DeCaro. And he's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he won't be. Jeremy DeCaro breaking free out to the right. DeCaro beating the man there. Jeremy DeCaro, the 20, the 10. Touchdown Falcons.
What a run. I mean, he looked like he went down over at the line of scrimmage, and he just backed up and he found a hole, and he just went all the way.
I was saying, unfortunately, Jeremy DeCaro stopped at the line of scrimmage before the play was even over. I was convinced DeCaro was down, and somehow he breaks free off to the right, and St. Joe's is up 9-0 over Westfield.
Yeah, that was what a run. I mean, I can't even fully understand what I just saw.
I'm still trying to comprehend it, but Jeremy DeCaro on the score there for the Falcons. And he's really just a home run hitter, isn't he? He's not really the guy like Amari Jones is, where he's going to consistently get you those 5 or 6 yards. But every now and then, Jeremy DeCaro will get you those giant scores, those giant plays, and he did so right there.
Yeah, and
Youssef on the extra point is good.
And that goes just back to what we were saying.
By Jeremy DeCaro, we're going to take a short break and be back for the St. Joe's kick. And we are back for the kick here by Tyler Youssef. It's another good one by the sophomore, Tyler Youssef. Pinning him all the way back to the goal line once again, but the coverage is not as good as the kick. Westfield finding some room, and Youssef makes 2 great plays as he makes the tackle at the 45-yard line, but Westfield's in great position here to start their drive.
And Youssef's kicking like he has something to prove. I mean, after last week and the last couple of weeks, he looked a little bit slow, but now he's just kicking with a purpose.
Yeah, Tyler Youssef, 1 for 1 on field goals today, 1 for 1 on extra points, 2 incredible kickoffs, both of them to the goal line, which is very uncommon in high school football, and he makes the tackle right there too. So Trey Brown and the offense going to head back onto the field on their own 46-yard line. 4 wide receivers out set for Westfield. Brown, the handoff. It's going to be stopped way behind the line of scrimmage. That's Rag on the carry and Masella on the tackle.
Yeah, and Masella gets the tackle on the stat book, but I think Dan Bellavia was the one who caused that play. You saw him just getting to the running back first, and he had to push him towards the inside, and Masella was just there to finish it.
Yeah, not to mention Dan Bellavia celebrating his birthday today. But I'm sure his main focus is just getting a win in this game and worrying about all the celebrations afterwards.
Yeah, and of course we were talking to him around campus, and his goal is that 10 sack mark, and he's more than halfway through to that already. So he's having a great season.
Yeah, he's got 4 on the year right now. The goal was 10, and he even said, hey, maybe I'll try for 15. So Dan Bellavia having one fantastic year, and that is going to end the first quarter. St. Joe's leads 10-0 over the Westfield Blue Devils, and make sure to tune in for the second. And we are back for the second quarter. Westfield with the ball. Trey Brown under major pressure by Dan Bellavia. Bellavia strip sack.
Brown under pressure.
And lucky it gets out of bounds there, so it'll remain Westfield's ball. Dan Bellavia, we were just talking about, it's his birthday today. And the birthday boy gets a strip sack there and his first of likely many in this game.
Yeah, and we know how important Dan Bellavia is to this team. He's the glue. He is the energy. He provides a lot of firepower for this team. And when he's rolling, this defense is also rolling.
Yeah, it just seems like he just has more hustle and heart than anyone on the field, on his own team, on the opposing team. Just always trying to get to the quarterback by any means necessary. Trey Brown. Now on the second down, Brown going to roll out to the right. He's a dangerous runner, Trey Brown.
Brown keeps.
Will be tackled.
Takes it back to the original line of scrimmage.
It's going to be a gain of about 7 or 8 there. It'll be a 4th and 10 for Westfield. And on comes Dylan Ragg for the punt.
Yeah, and Dan Bellavia on that play almost ran the width of the field and got the quarterback again. So he's fired up, and you're good to see if you're the Falcons.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before. It's just the hustle he has. The quarterback runs off to the right while Dan's lined up at that left end, but nonetheless, he is still sprinting to try and get to the quarterback. Even if he doesn't get there, that's not really what matters. Just getting the pressure and making Trey Brown know that he's there. So Dylan Ragg on the punt.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see another option and he just
It
punts
will
it
be
away.
a punt by Ragg. It's a good one there by Dylan Ragg, but it's going to skip right into the end zone. That'll be a touchback for Dylan Ragg and Westfield. St. Joe's will start off on their own 20-yard line.
Yeah, and the Falcons have the opportunity to go up 17-0 now. That would be a huge commanding lead to start the game, and I doubt Westfield would be able to come back from that. But another thing to bring up is that the Falcons now eclipse the 11 rushing touchdown mark. So we always talk about how lethal this rushing offense is, and that that's just one number to just back us up.
Yeah, it's 14 total touchdowns, 11 are rushing, and just 3 passing touchdowns for De Janeiro. But that's not a knock to De Janeiro. It just shows how much this rushing attack means to the St. Joe's offense. De Janeiro going to have Gordon outright. It's going to be Amari Jones on the pitch to the right. And Jones will be tackled for a gain of about 1. And like we were saying before, St. Joe's scored 10 points in just one quarter against a Westfield team that just beat Scotch Plains 30-0 and are on a 3-game win streak. So St. Joe's, it seems like they're not even fazed by how hot this Westfield team is.
Yeah, and the Falcons were also really hot to start the season, but last week they had a off game against Elizabeth, and I think they're out here with something to prove that they're not just a team based on strength of schedule.
Yeah, St. Joe's to start the season had 3 2 or more possession wins, and they took a 2-point loss to Elizabeth, which was just crushing. But it seems like they're fully back in action here today versus Elizabeth. As it's going to be a screen pass over to Jones. Good gain there by Amari Jones on the out route at the running back position.
Yeah, I like the call there. Those screen passes, are usually a great way to play against blitz. You have those linemen coming right at you, and that screen pass is an easy way to get some yards and some momentum. Those sometimes could go, as huge plays.
No, it definitely. For me, it's just getting the ball in the hands of your greatest playmakers by any means necessary, which is why we see so many runs, because that's just a direct handoff. But those screen passes to get it over to Huntley, to Amari, to DeCaro, that's really what matters for St. Joe's. De Janeiro under center. Huntley in motion. Hand off to Jones. And that'll be a first down for St. Joe's on that 3rd and 2. We got 10 minutes left to go in the first half. St. Joe's leads 10-0, and they're driving on Westfield. St. Joe's on their own 35.
Brought down by Love. First attempt at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, and this is the first game where we're starting to feel the cold weather hit us for the first time this year, and I don't know what kind of impact that has on the team, on the game planning. But earlier in the season, we saw problems with hydration and stuff, so maybe that all goes away now.
Yeah, possibly, and we'll probably see some cold weather on those Friday night lights. Jojo Huntley, nice gain of about 4 or 5 on the rush there. And once again, Huntley didn't see contact until he gained those 5 yards, so just got to give big props to the St. Joe's O-line to catch.
Gain of 5 yards, 2nd down and 5 at the 39-yard line.
So it'll be a 2nd and 5 for St. Joe's. Still in their own territory, but having a methodical drive right now against the Blue Devils. Carl in motion, hand off there to Jones. Amari Jones, massive hole once again, and Jones fighting to get into Westfield territory. It's going to be a first down for the Falcons on the Westfield 48.
First and 10 Falcons.
Yeah, and the Falcons have done a lot of running in this game, and especially going up 10-0 is now the time to start crunching clock.
No, but I mean, if the run game is how you get down the field, I think that's all that matters. It just matters for St. Joe's to just advance that ball near the end zone, and that's what they've been doing. So why stray away and try and air the ball out when this is working? Carl going to come out once again. It's just going to be Magliacano set out wide. It's going to be in that 4-point stance that is notorious here at St. Joe's. Looks like it's going to be an offsides on Westfield, so a massive call for St. Joe's and a crushing call for Westfield as St. Joe's is going to advance.
Yeah, and Westfield's been kicking themselves in the foot with these penalties. This is the second or third time there's been an offsides call now.
So St. Joe's moving up. Amari Jones, after that big run, takes an even bigger lead for individual rushing yards on the St. Joe's team, now over 400 on the year in just 4 games. DeCaro in motion, hand off to Jones. Jones
is the ball carrier.
Near the first down, and he looks like he will get the first down
across the 40
for St. Joe's.
Yeah, and this is one of those drives where Omari really establishes himself as that bell cow running back who gets, 20 touches a game almost. So.
Yeah, and I love seeing Amari play last year because he was that clear number 1 guy, and he just made so many plays. And this year, the rushing game has gotten even better because you got DeCaro and Huntley in the backfield. But every now and then, Amari still shows that he's still that guy. And these past few games have really been seeing that the fumble on the snap as DeCaro was under center. Westfield is pointing that they have the ball, but it looked like DeCaro got on it. It should be St. Joe's ball, but we'll see what the call is.
Yeah, and it looked like there was some miscommunication between the center and Daniel DeGennaro. Obviously, that's not something that happens too much, but going up 10-0, you can't afford to give up your momentum like that. So
yeah, still a great drive. St. Joe's, obviously, they shouldn't be anywhere near field goal range. It'll be about a 57-yard kick here. So still got to advance that ball if they want points on the board. 2nd and 13 for the Falcons on the Westfield 40. DeGennaro dropping back. Pass is almost intercepted, but also almost caught by Magliacano, but nonetheless, it's going to be an incomplete pass there by DeGennaro.
Yeah, and Magliacano's done a great job this year with those 50-50 balls, able to pull them in, really efficiently, but this is one of those times where, it really wasn't there.
And Saketh, with the lead St. Joe's is enjoying right now and how well these drives have been going, do you like DeGennaro kind of airing it out for those 50-50 balls, or would you rather just stick with safe passes and runs?
Yeah, up 10-0, I'm really looking for those small underneath throws that you're going to catch 10 times out of 10. So yeah, if I'm Coach Tracy, I'm just sticking to the motion in the backfield, the running, the outside run plays, and hitting your guys in short underneath routes.
And we'll see what the game plan is for the Falcons after they take this timeout. We'll be right back. So both teams going to head onto the field. St. Joe's looking at a 3rd and 13. DeGennaro looks to pass. Pass is complete, but short of the first down.
Brought in by Huntley.
Pass completed
Jordan
to
on the
JoJo.
tackle.
Yeah,
JoJo Huntley.
and it looks like the
Westfield
offense
about
is staying
5
on the
yards short of
field.
the first down, 4th down.
So the offense is going to stay on the field for 4th down. I like this call from Coach Tracy, but, it could go either way, especially up 10-0.
Yeah, but if you don't think you can make the field goal and you're this deep in the territory, why punt it when it's going to be an almost automatic touchback unless Youssef makes a great punt? So I love going for it right here. There's really nothing to lose. DeGennaro dropping back. Pass is complete, but knocked out of the hands of Andre Gordon.
Jars the ball loose.
Yeah, and it was caught at first, and that defensive man, number 33 for Westfield, just got right there, and he just lit Andre Gordon up.
Yeah, and Gordon never really had possession, so it's going to be an incomplete pass, but nonetheless, it's a turnover on downs, and Westfield will take over. So really the first unsuccessful drive for St. Joe's here today, and yet they still got all the way down to the Westfield 30.
Yeah, and that's one of those spots where DeGennaro has to be really careful about leading his guys into some position they can't defend themselves in. When a receiver is catching a ball and you see someone from the secondary coming right at him, I think if you're DeGennaro, you got to be a little careful with those.
And off is to Dylan Ragg, and once again goes nowhere. This St. Joe's front seven has been incredible all game today, and it looks like it's going to stay that way on this drive.
1 yard, 2nd down and 9.
Also, something to mention: Will Almasi, one of the star senior linebackers, has a uniform change here today, wearing number 82. So it looks a little bit weird out there, but he's still making plays at that middle linebacker position.
Yeah, he had a little bit of miscommunication of what uniform to wear, but he's such a great player for the Falcons, and he's leading the team in tackles because he just goes wherever the ball is, and he lights their guys up.
Pass is going to be complete by Trey Brown. This looks like it's going to be a 3rd and inches, or they'll call it a first down. So first down for Westfield on their own 43-yard line. So Westfield having a decent drive here. Do you think it's the pass game or the running game that's really starting to kill St. Joe's on the defensive side?
St. Joe's has been all over the running game so far, and I think they've game planned for the running game mostly. So when you see when
Trey Brown airing it out here. Kelowna on the defense. And a great pass breakup there by Ty Kelowna.
That was great coverage. He was all over his guy right there.
He was a little early with his hands.
Yeah, he might have had maybe like half a step or a step on Kelowna. But Kelowna was able to catch up. Never turned his head around, so maybe that's something you want to watch out for. But just a great breakup there by the junior.
Yeah, he didn't really make a play on the ball, but regardless, it was a great job getting back to his man after he got slightly burned originally.
And Ty Kelowna leads the team in interceptions, like we mentioned before. He's got 2 on the year. But he also likely leads the team in pass breakups. I think that's already his 2nd today. And I know he's gotten a lot in the past. So Ty Kelowna really been impressive at that outside cornerback position.
The option to Ragg.
It's going to be Ragg on the handoff there.
Yes.
He takes it across the 45.
Got about 4.5 minutes left to go. St. Joe's still leads 10-0 here in this game. Going to be a 3rd and 10 for the Blue Devils. Brown on the pass, knocked up in the air, still caught by Westfield.
So it looked like that was Ben Masella who was able to get his hands up and just tip the ball. That could have been intercepted easily. And this Falcons D-line has really been dominating so far.
Yeah, this entire, like I said before, the front seven has been just incredible. Masella on the tip, and I believe it was Fanning on the tackle. So they're just really working together as a unit, and they have been all season. And they're really, I don't want to say carrying this team because the offense has been playing incredible. But, you can say the entire team is just really gelling well together and firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and this game has been morely Ben Masella and Dan Bellavia on opposite sides, just getting to the quarterback, getting their hands up. But usually, I feel like this D-line kind of makes our secondary look a little bit better than it is, honestly.
It definitely does. It forces the quarterback to make those inerrant throws, and when that happens, the DBs look a lot better. Yeah, but like you said, it's the edge duo of Masella and Bellavia. I know they're great friends off the field, but they play so well together on the field. And you got a guy like Christian Agriacano who sometimes drops some coverage, sometimes rushing like a Micah Parsons type player. So just having that on the field is super valuable for St. Joe's.
Yeah, and Rodney Fanning's been, one of those run stuffer guys in the middle, and it's really hard to get anything past this Falcons D line.
Yeah, it seems like if you don't have two guys on Fanning to block, he's gonna plug whatever hole he's at.
It's a fair catch. Looks like a little bit short of the 25-yard line.
And St. Joe's is going to have 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock in the first half to try and put some more points on this board and make this an even larger lead. So DeGennaro going to head on to the field.
So again, the Falcons have the opportunity to make it 17-0. So, like I said before, that's a commanding lead to go into half with.
Nancy Keth, with 4 minutes and 12 seconds on the clock, you're at your own 23-yard line. Can you stick to the run game here, or do you have to air it out a couple times?
I'm not really going to panic until we have about 2 minutes left. Then I'd be like, you got to start getting going. But this rushing attack's been lethal today, and I'm not really worried about time being a factor in this drive.
They did stick to the run game there. It's going to be a pitch on the outside left to Amari Jones, but he just got blown up at the line of scrimmage.
No gain on the play.
So it looks like Westfield was all over that play, kind of expecting it. So it's going to be a 2nd and 10 for St. Joe's, and Siketh, I'll go right back to it. 2nd and longs are always very interesting plays because you can go for the run since it's not yet 3rd, or you could throw the ball. So for St. Joe's with 4 minutes on the clock, what are you doing here?
I'm sticking to the run game until it's, like I said, 2 minutes left. Then I might go more play action, more dropbacks, trying to get into the end zone or even in field goal situation.
Stick with the run until it fails you, and they will hear Jeremy DeCaro on another handoff. Bit of a scary tackle there. Hope he gets up okay. And he will. Looks like his head kind of went right into the chest pad of a Westfield defender.
Timeout, Westfield.
But it's going to be a timeout by Westfield, so we'll take a short break and be right back for this St. Joe's drive. Both teams going to head back onto the field. St. Joe's on their own 26 have a 3rd and 6 with about 3 minutes left to go. Handoff is to Huntley. Huntley on the end around. JoJo Huntley will not get there for the first down. And Westfield is going to have a chance to get back on the field. And here's another timeout by Westfield.
Gain of only a couple. It will be 4th down.
Yeah, and that's the point where I'd go with a play action pass. I mean, I don't really like giving Westfield the ball back with a couple minutes left.
Yeah, maybe in that situation, maybe you do want to drain the clock, but they still have 2 timeouts, so it's not like they weren't going to call a timeout. So why not air it out and see if you can get the first down? You can still throw it to some of those guys in the backfield, but I think just letting them get down the field first before they get the ball would be a lot better in a situation.
Yeah, and especially considering Westfield gets the ball at half, it's still a close game. If you consider these 2 possessions they're getting, they could easily take the lead. So, I think if you're the Falcons, you also still got to stick to your passes and go back to the pass when it's necessary, at least.
You definitely do. It's a 4th and 4, but they are on their own 29, so really can't expect St. Joe's to go for it here, and they won't. It'll be Huseth coming on for the punt for the Falcons. Huseth has had a great game so far. We can see he'll continue it here. Tyler Huseth almost gets blocked. It might have gotten tipped, but it still rolls a decent amount for St. Joe is going to be a dead stop at the Westfield 35 after being punted from the St. Joe's 30.
Down there by
We'll take a short break as both offenses and defenses head onto the field. So Trey Brown and the Westfield offense going to head onto the field. Brown looking for a quick pass, and he completes it on the right outside. Kelowna and Almasi going to force him out of bounds, but not before he gets the first down for Westfield. Westfield on their own 45-yard line. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go after that out-of-bounds play. And Saket, do you start dropping guys back really deep, or maybe you play a couple of cover twos and try and defend the 5 and 10 yard pass here?
I mean, considering there's still a couple minutes on the clock, I'm just trying to stop everything at this point.
And what a beautiful ball by Brown, but an even bigger hit by Huntley. Somehow was still completed. Short of the first down, about a 7 or 8 yard gain. Brown in this offense with the hurry up. Another pass complete there to Peter Del Rey.
First down.
First down for the Blue Devils. 2.5 minutes now on the clock. They're down 10, but trying to make this a one-possession game before the end of the first half.
Yeah, and Trey Brown's really not been that great passing-wise to start this game. I'd credit that to the Falcons' defensive line, but if you're Trey Brown, you got to step up and start making some of these passes if you want to get back in the game.
Definitely. With the 230 rushing yards he has in the season, you really want to see him try and make more moves. He had an open man there in Peter Mixner down the middle.
That was a disgusting throw. That was horrible.
You got to try and hit that pass. That is a touchdown right there for Westfield. But nonetheless, it'll be a 2nd and 10 for the Blue Devils here.
Maybe Trey Brown should start like sticking to lacrosse. I don't know. I don't know what the solution's here, but
some brutal takes here by Saket. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, Trey Brown, he has great pocket presence, especially when that St. Joe's D-line gets in the backfield as quickly as they are today. But just got to start making those throws. Brown. Pass was a good one, but Almasi was all over it. Almasi with the pass breakup there for St. Joe's. 3rd and 10 for Westfield.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with my decision to tell Trey Brown to stick to lax. But all jokes aside, he has to start stepping up and hitting his guys. He's not making great decisions right now, and when he does, he's not hitting his guys.
Yeah, I'm sure if Westfield ever plays St. Joe's in lacrosse and Trey Brown possibly listens to this broadcast, I'm sure he'll be getting a solid 9 or 10 goals against us. So hopefully that does not happen. As Trey Brown with the drop back under major pressure, and is going to be brought down by Rodney Fanning. That's a tackle for loss for Fanning, and Marcella with the help in the backfield.
Yeah, and Trey Brown looks to be slow getting up.
Yeah, Trey Brown, we're going to take an injury timeout here in Westfield.
He gets up with his own.
He's going to walk.
He's wobbling a little bit. They might have to check him out, but, you know, I was just talking some trash, but I never want to see a guy go down like that.
Yeah, it will be 4th and 10, so he will have the St. Joe's drive for halftime to try and get set before they receive the ball in the second half. Yeah, of course, you always wish for the guy's health in these games, and we hope Trey Brown gets well soon and can be on the field for Westfield after halftime.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's committed D1 to lax, so obviously injuries are, you know, something you don't want to see, especially considering he has a lot on the line to lose.
It's going to be Dylan Ragg on the punt. Jeremy DeCaro back deep for the Falcons, set for the return. Ragg running to the side. DeCaro runs away, and the ball is going to roll down to the St. Joe's 1 yard line. So St. Joe's wants to end the game with this drive and wants to end the game or end the half with a 10-0 lead, but down at your own 1, this is dangerous territory right now.
Yeah, 2 minute drill here. I think it's time to go with some play action passes, and if it's not there, just throw it out of bounds. Don't force anything. A lot of times we see quarterbacks forcing plays, inside their 10-yard line, and it easily goes for a pick six when they don't make the right decision. So.
And I think the guy you want getting the ball here is I think you just have 3 straight rushes with Amari Jones, but that could just be me because that's kind of the guy where you think because you want to be safe from the safety, so just get those couple yards and then likely punt. But who knows what's going to happen with St. Joe's? It's going to be Ridges in the backfield with DeGennaro under center.
Yeah, and usually when Ridges is in the backfield, we see a lot of rushes to one of the other guys and Ridges blocks.
It's a great quarterback keep. As DeGennaro is going to get up to the 6-yard line, and now is when St. Joe's can really run some offense. Not sure if they're going to want to try and get points on this drive or just make sure that this is the last drive of the first half, but we'll just have to see.
I mean, considering that Westfield does get ball at half, it's still a ball game, and if they do get points on the board, I think that really solidify the lead here.
And St. Joe's did call a timeout after that. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, that was just the clock stopping. 2nd and 6 for St. Joe's on 6. DeGennaro once again under center. Should be another run, and it will be. Great blocking by St. Joe's and the big men in the trenches as Ridges advances forward and gets the first down for the Falcons. So 1:09 on the clock. St. Joe's at their own 15, and Saket Halasi again. If you're St. Joe's, do you still want this to just end the game, end the half at 10-0, or do you try and get some points on the board here?
Like I said, I'm trying to get up to 17-0. I think that really, puts their foot in the ground and really tells them that, this lead is not going anywhere.
Yes, maybe we see some shots in the passing game for St. Joe's, or maybe we just see a couple of knees to end off the first half, and that's exactly what DeGennaro will do. So St. Joe's with a 10-0 lead over Westfield at the end of the first half. Be sure to tune in for the second half. And we are back for the second half here in Westfield. St. Joe's is enjoying a 10-0 lead over the Blue Devils, but the Blue Devils will be receiving the kickoff here from Huseth. Another good one from the sophomore down to about the 10-yard line. And the return is cut short by Magliacano. Christian Magliacano with the tackle at around the 15-yard line. As Trey Brown, the senior quarterback for Westfield, heads onto the field. Once again, Ben Chowder joined alongside Saketh Kodori. And Saketh, we saw Trey Brown take a decent hit towards the end of the drive in the first half to end the first half. Is there some questions about why he should be on this field?
Yeah, and especially considering what we just saw, professionally with Tua Tagovailoa and how the coaches pushed him back onto the field when he was not, fit to play. You got to hope that they went through the proper protocols and he's on the field safely. But if he's here, he should be holding it, and hopefully, he bounces back for Westfield.
Dylan Ragg on the handoff there for Westfield, about a 4 to 5 yard gain there for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and Ben, do you think the Westfield coaches are going to try and go a little bit less run heavy with Trey Brown, considering what we saw?
I would say so. I don't think you run as read options or design QB run plays. I think you either air it out or you have him hand the ball off to someone else. And he low right there, and he'll be tackled by Elias Scott. But there is a flag on the play.
Penalty is holding on the offense.
Yeah, and Ben, this is probably one of the most dismal homecomings I've seen in a while. It's just really quiet and really.
It is a weird sort of like energy right now. Obviously, the weather does not help. It's the gray skies. It's a fairly low scoring game, so yeah, it's a of a bore right now. But hopefully, both of these offenses can give us a show here in Westfield.
Yeah, and if you want to see a good homecoming, I suggest you come to St. Joe's versus Edison Friday night on October 7th. That should be a great game and a great way to celebrate the year.
That'll be an electric game. First ever Friday night lights game. I know we mentioned it a bunch of times, but it's worth mentioning. Should be a really fun night on October 7th at the Brenner Family Field.
And interestingly enough, at halftime, Dan Bellavia, whose birthday it is, his dad won, the lottery at the Westfield lottery here. So, to celebrate your birthday, but, obviously everything's going for him today.
Yeah, we were saying Dan was going to hold off the festivities till after the game, but his dad at halftime just won $505, I think it was, with the 50-50. So maybe that goes straight to a Dan Bellavia birthday fund, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's going to be 3rd and 18 now for Westfield on their own 10-yard line. Trey Brown in at the shotgun, 3 wide receivers out wide. Long ways to go here for the Blue Devils. And they're just going to hand it off to Dylan Ragg. And it's a really good game for Ragg, but not nearly enough for the first down, and they'll be forced to punt.
Tackled by Fanning.
So St. Joe's, this defense showing out once again in the second half. They held Westfield to 0 points, and just like that, it's a 3-and-out for the Falcons.
Yeah, and on the sideline, this Westfield team just looks really, really like dreary, and no one looks like they're pumped up.
Yeah, St. Joe's coming off a brutal loss last week, and Westfield coming off 3 wins. You would think it's sort of the opposite, but St. Joe's has looked just incredible. As Jeremy DeCaro with a nice catch there on the punt. DeCaro is going to go down. It's a nice tackle there for Westfield, but St. Joe's already in Westfield territory on the Westfield 48.
Yeah, and DeCaro has been one of the better-looking players for the St. Joe's team today. I mean, Ben, we're still trying to figure out what we saw in that run, but he went down, and he came back up and had a huge run for a touchdown.
I wish I could have portrayed it better over the broadcast. I was convinced he was down. I was getting ready to talk about the next play, and then all of a sudden he just gets up and he is off to the races on the right sideline, and it was a massive, I believe, like 60, 70-yard touchdown for St. Joe's, and Jeremy DeCaro is very used to those big plays this year. It's going to be Ridges on the handoff. Big hole there for Ridges. Once again, that O-line has been incredible for St. Joe's this entire game. Got to give them props.
Yeah, and that's that big guy in the middle again, Rodney Fanning, and he just opens up the holes every time, no matter who's receiving the ball at the snap.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of obligated to give their names a shout out real quick. So at the left tackle, we have Kai Martinez, the senior. Left guard and center, we have the Tooley brothers. That's Jake and Joe, the senior and sophomore. Then we got Elias Scott at right guard and Rodney Fanning at right tackle. Those 5 group of guys down in the trenches for St. Joe's have been just incredible this entire game, and they deserve all the recognition. JoJo Huntley on the end around, not much to it, will be taken down at the line of scrimmage as we'll bring up a 2nd and 10 with just about 9.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And so, Kathy, you're enjoying a 10-point lead. The run game seems to be kind of, but also kind of not. Do you go to the pass game, or do you just kind of stick with the run and worry about it when you have to worry about it?
You know, when I say pass game, I don't mean take shots, but pass game in the sense that, you go with those play action and the short underneath routes, which I think, with the type of players you have receiving the passes could end up going like for huge plays. So
it's going to be another carry for Ridges, but yeah, I'm by no means am I calling this offense like kind of like a peewee football. But I remember when I played peewee, I think it was like 97% of the plays that we ran were all run plays, and that's kind of what St. Joe's does here. But it works. You got those running backs. You got an incredible run blocking O line. So why not stick with it until it fails? About 8.5 minutes left to go. St. Joe's still leads 10-0 here at Westfield. DeJaneiro, empty back set. Lined out wide. DeJaneiro, the quick pass is blocked at the line.
Yeah, and that was batted down right at the line. And number 56 for Westfield was disappointed he wasn't able to just pluck it out of the air.
That is a tough ball to grab, especially if you're a D lineman. That ball is moving at a high velocity, so to catch that will be tough. But hey, to bat it down and force a punt, it should be a punt, but instead it would be 4th and 6 for the Falcons, and they're going to be going for it at the Westfield 34.
And Ben, you know my opinion on this. I love when Coach Tracy goes for it on 4th down, trying to amp his team up.
And some people, I'm sure, will say 4th and 6 is a decent way to go, but we'll see. As DeJaneiro drops back, the ball jumps up in the air, and it is almost caught.
That was great awareness by Maglicano to notice the ball was tipped up in the air. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull it in, but he's done that multiple times this game already. He has, great awareness, and he's always looking at his quarterback, Daniel DeJaneiro, and they have a special connection, those two.
Yeah, it was a bit of a risky pass there, but then again, it's 4th down, so if the ball is intercepted, it shouldn't be that much of a difference between the yards. It was a great hustle play by Maglicano, but unfortunately for the Falcons, could not get it done there on the 4th down as Trey Brown and this offense head onto the field and started off with a loss on the run.
The ball carrier, loss of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 11.
So once again, this St. Joe's defense is coming up very clutch. This entire game, the offense is playing well enough, but the defense holding them to 0 points, and it seems like we've gone through numerous 3-and-outs.
So if you're Westfield, I think this is the time where you have to start trusting your guy Trey Brown and start going for those deep shots.
It looks like they will. It's a 3 wide receiver set, and instead they're going to hand it off once again. And once again, big shocker, St. Joe's shuts down the rush immediately.
Yeah, and that was Will Almasi who leads this team in tackles. He's just everywhere in this defense. You see him making tackles in the secondary sometimes and sometimes in the backfield. So St. Joe's likes to use him, in a multitude of ways, and a lot of times he's getting to the running back in the backfield.
Yeah, and since you are missing that incredible safety in Amari Jones on the defensive side, it's great to see the defense and the front 7 really stepping up because of that. It's going to be a fairly deep pass by Trey Brown. It's going to be overthrown to Peter Del Rey, and that'll be a 4th and 10 for Westfield, and yet another punt and yet another 3-and-out.
And on that play, that was one of those where Dan Bellavia and Ben Masella, working opposite of each other, both effectively get to the quarterback. Ben Masella pushed him towards the middle little bit of pressure, and then Dan Bellavia was just there to finish it off. And then, Trey Brown was barely able to get that ball off.
Yeah, I know in the NFL, a very underrated stat is how many pressures a guy has, because that has a big impact on the quarterback and on the game. There's a rag on the punt. It's going to go right out of bounds. And I know a company called PFF does a lot of that for the NFL, and you kind of wish they would do it for high school too, but that is a lot of football to be covering and be doing all those pressures. But I'm sure Masella and Bellavia are topping the charts when it comes to pressures.
Yeah, both of those players like to combine, speed and power. I mean, Dan Bellavia likes to, like he told us, he likes to rip his guy away from the ball and just, come right at the quarterback. And Ben Masella is, it looks to be he's using bull rushes a lot, but they've both been really effective today.
Yeah, it's really, for the high school level, you can call it the Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, or the Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. That's how good those two guys have been for St. Joe's this year. As the Falcons offense comes on the field, DeCaro gets the rush.
Yeah, and Ben, I can't even think of a single drive where Westfield even looked like they were starting to put it together.
No, they've broken the 50-yard line maybe a couple times this entire game, which is not enough, especially when this offense has been dropping as many points as they have been, 30, 38, 21 in the last 3 games.
I don't know if that goes to show how dominant this Falcons defense has been, or maybe Westfield's just having some struggles. But either way, the Falcons have looked great today on both sides of the ball.
I think it's a little bit of both, but definitely this Falcons defense has stepped up big time, especially that front seven, which I know we keep repeating.
Huntley
it deserves repeating. Yeah, big play by Huntley on the pass there. It's going to be a first down for St. Joe's, about a 25-yard catch for the senior.
Forced out of bounds by Wojcik.
Yeah, and that was just one of those plays where Huntley shows off his speed. He's able to accelerate on all 3 levels, and he caught that, and he looked like he was gone if there was not like one man less.
No, definitely, and Huntley is another guy used that speed to his advantage, and we saw it right there. St. Joe's on the Westfield 49-yard line now. 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And off to Ridges goes absolutely nowhere. Looks like the St. Joe's D-line out there for Westfield.
Yeah, maybe they're not that good, but
no. Yeah, just one play to St. Joe's many, but still a great play there by Westfield and that run defense, forcing a 2nd and 10 for the Falcons.
Yeah, and like I said, it's looking more and more like this team should stick to lacrosse. It's looking bad out here.
You're just not holding up on those lacrosse takes.
I mean, looking at this team, it's just brutal. It seems they have no answer for the Falcons.
DeGennaro on the drop back pass is somehow complete to Magliacano, and Magliacano somehow doesn't go down.
It's going to be a yard short.
Yeah, 9-yard gain there for Magliacano on the out route.
And like I said, Magliacano is one of those guys who has a special connection with Daniel DeGennaro, and he's been the main beneficiary this year besides Jeremy DeCaro of those passes.
He definitely has, and I think we gotta talk about what a catch that was by
Magliacano. It was really low. He caught it like at almost his foot level, so he had to lean down and grab that, and still was able to get 9 yards. So very impressive.
Gets the first down for the Falcons as we have about 4.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. St. Joe's very methodically working their way down this field, and I'm sure they're tiring out that Blue Devils defense.
Yeah, and Omari coming off of a concussion. Jason Ridges has done his fair share to keep this Falcons rushing attack where it's supposed to be. He's taken over that role as that that power rusher that we get from Omari.
Yeah, and to get for me, I would love to see another pass or two incorporated in this drive, because I think West will be caught off guard, especially with how many times St. Joe's has run the ball here today.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big proponent of this Falcons offense using those play action passes, kind of like a Titans scheme last year before they gave up A.J. Brown. It was really lethal for them, and I think the Falcons have used it really well this year, and when they do use it, it's been very, very effective.
Definitely, and maybe some real deep shots too to Magliacano. Just looking at the size that Westfield has in their defensive backcourt, doesn't seem to be too comparable to Maglicano's size. So maybe you do throw up a 50-50 ball in the end zone.
Yeah, and we saw against the Somerville game, you saw DeGennaro just air it out for Maglicano, and he was able to pull in about a 40-yard touchdown. So obviously, they're definitely capable, and maybe if the game gets a little bit more competitive, I do see that happening.
DeGennaro hand off to Jeremy DeCaro. DeCaro, good patience, but it's going to be
Nice play
a
outside.
negative with that patience.
Jordan with the
If
tackle
he's going
behind
to
the
lose
line
a
of
couple
scrimmage.
yards there, is Jeremy DeCaro.
Yeah, and it seemed at the last second, number 33 for Westfield just got through. I think the lineman was trying to avoid a holding penalty, and that's what happens.
3rd and 8. 3rd and 11 make that for St. Joe's. So, Saket, is this 2-down territory for the Falcons, or do you have to air it out first down?
It hasn't really worked today. I mean, usually I'm the first one to say, go for it because statistically that's the better solution. But when it has and they're shutting out that Westfield offense, let's just punt it and pin them down really, really deep in their own territory.
DeGennaro's pass is picked off at the 30-yard line. It's going to be a turnover on downs for St. Joe's. And Westfield will take over.
At the 30-yard
A
line,
nice catch
first and
there,
10
but
for
a
Devil.
brutal read, I got to say, by DeGennaro. There were 2 guys on the receiver there, and yet he still threw that pass.
Yeah, and sometimes DeGennaro likes to force it to Jeremy DeCaro and Christian Maglicano. But sometimes it doesn't work out, and maybe this is the momentum boost that Westfield was looking for.
It could be, and the pass was intended for Jeremy DeCaro right there, but Maglicano, it looked like, was a couple yards shorter of DeCaro on that same side, and he looked to be open, so maybe it wouldn't have gotten the first down, but it would have been a lot better than what we just saw there for St. Joe's. Pass is going to be complete.
Pass is complete to Del Rey.
To Del Rey for Westfield. That's a first down for the Blue Devils.
First down.
With 2 minutes left to go in the 3rd.
So it's actually looking like so far that maybe that was the push they needed to get their tempo back up. And obviously when a team is scoring 30 points consistently, you really can't afford them to get going.
It really could be, and the St. Joe's defense has come up big many times in this game and this entire season, but they're going to need to come up big right now, especially with the momentum heavily against them. Once again, just another massive run stop for the Falcons defense on Dylan Ragg.
Yeah, and that's something you can consistently count on if you're the Falcons for that D-line play to always be there. So I think if the Falcons continue to shut out their rushing attack, then all attempts at a possible comeback are gone.
Yeah, and something worth mentioning is Dylan Ragg had 202 rushing yards in their last matchup. And today, I would bet that he has under 40 against this St. Joe's run defense.
Yeah, and a big amount of that came on that fake punt. So
Trey Brown's pass is complete down to the 25-yard line.
Trey Brown.
That's going to be about a 40-yard play for the Blue Devils. The pass complete to Coyle.
35 yards.
Yeah, and that's maybe where Omari's presence is not being felt in that safety hole. I mean, Andre Gordon was there, but he looked really unaware of where 84 was on the field.
Yeah, that's right where Omari Jones' physicality is definitely felt by the receiver, but fortunately with him missing on the defense, they were able to complete that pass. Trey Brown going to rush there, and once again, the St. Joe's run defense stopping any possible rush. So, I mean, if you're Westfield at this point, just keep airing it out. Like, why go back to the run game?
Yeah, and that was number 21 for the Falcons, Jasier Styles, and he's a junior, so he's a guy who's looking to get more involved with Omari not playing at that linebacker position.
Yeah, it looked like it was his first tackle of the day, and it was a pretty good one right at the line of scrimmage. Forcing a second down here. Trey Brown going to roll out, looks to pass. Brown under pressure from Bellavia. And the pass is batted down by Maglicano.
Yeah, and there was nobody there from the beginning. Everyone was completely under wraps, and Trey Brown had nowhere to go.
Yeah, once again, we were talking about before, that's where that pressure comes in. Bellavia didn't get the sack there for just forcing him to be under pressure and start moving around. That's where Maglicano was able to bat the ball down. It's going to be a 3rd and 9 for Westfield here.
So I think if you're
26.
I think if you're Westfield, you might try and air it out again. That's what's only worked in this drive, and maybe that's the only way they can really get back into this game.
Trey Brown pass is complete.
Pass is complete.
It's going to
Brown
be
is
very
all ready.
close to that first down. Looks like the ref is going to mark it short.
With the tackle, it'll be close.
JoJo Huntley on the tackle there. Looks like he stopped the first down conversion. We're going to have a fourth down coming up after this break. Third quarter is coming close, 10-0. St. Joe's leads here in Westfield. And we are back for some fourth quarter action of what could be a nail biter here in Westfield. St. Joe's leads 10-0 over the Blue Devils, but Westfield is at their own 20-yard line, and the QB sneak is going to get them the first down. Trey Brown on a sneak there, first down for Westfield.
And magically, ever since that interception, there's been a lot more energy on this Westfield sideline. And if you're the Falcons, you got to be looking to shut that out immediately.
Trey Brown designed quarterback run. It's a big one. Brought down finally by Magliacano and Bellavia at the 5-yard line.
Takes it down on the 5-yard line, gain of 9 yards.
So Westfield now at the beginning of the fourth quarter are starting off hot and have clear sights on the end zone. St. Joe's has just been dominating all game on the defensive side, but they're under some real pressure here, deep in their own territory.
And it looks like as soon as Westfield shied away from that run and started airing it out, they started seeing different results.
And the run is what gets them in the end zone. Trey Brown on the read option. Touchdown for the Blue Devils. And just like that, we have a one-possession game here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and maybe if you're the Falcons, you got to go right back to DeGennaro and throwing the ball. You don't really want him to lose his confidence.
Yeah, it's still 11 minutes on the clock. There's no chewing the clock here, especially now that you're only up by 3. So now you try and run some more pass-heavy offense. But we'll see what St. Joe's does when they get the ball back, but not before they made extra point.
Dayon snaps it to you, and Hitchman puts it through.
That's Henry Hitchman, who is now 9 for 10 on extra points this year for Westfield, and we'll take another short break and be back for St. Joseph's drive. We are back after that score by Trey Brown and the Westfield offense. Dylan Ragg on the kickoff here, recovered by Huntley. JoJo Huntley on the return. Huntley had some room there, got up to the 30-yard line, but a flag is on the field.
There we go.
There's a flag on the
Look at
back.
that son of a bitch.
It's the offense. There'll be a block in the back.
So it looks like the Falcons are going to be pushed back.
Yep, there you go.
See where the ball is spotted.
They'll take it back to the 16-yard line.
Ball is going to be spotted on the 16-yard line, so the Falcons have a long way to go to score. I think they need to score here if they want to get back in this game, momentum-wise. DeGennaro. Motion in the backfield. Hands it off to Jason Ridges. Doesn't get much there. It's going to be a yard or two.
Gain of 2 yards, 2nd and 8.
So now it's going to be 2nd and 8. And I think if you're the Falcons, you got to start going back to the pass. Trust DeGennaro a little bit. So it's DeGennaro again. 3 men in the backfield. Again to Jason Ridges, a big hole. And the ball is out. And Westfield has the ball, so that's a big momentum turn again. And Westfield has a chance to take the lead here, if not tie the game.
St. Joe's is trying to say that Jason Ridges' knee was down, but it looks like the refs are going to give it to Westfield. It's going to be Blue Devil football, and they have all the momentum right now.
Yeah, and Ben, this is exactly what I was scared of right after that interception. Only a 10-point game. You know, it's very easy for momentum to turn, and in 2 possessions, the lead is gone. So that's why I was advocating at halftime to go and score again. But, you know, if you're the Falcons, you really need a shutout here.
Yeah, that was really the main momentum switch at that interception.
And picked off!
Big one there for Christian Magliacano. Magliacano.
There you go.
Magliacano
Going to be tackled by Trey Brown. Christian Magliacano
There's a 15
gives the
yard
energy
That
right
should be
back to
15
St.
yards.
Joe's.
What an answer for
That
Christian
should be 15
Magliacano.
yards on that. No, they won't.
And the St. Joe's coach standing next to us is also looking for a flag. So we'll see if they're awarded one. But regardless, what a huge play for Christian Magliacano. I mean, if Westfield had a momentum turn there, then this was a answer to Westfield. And now it's really quiet on the sideline.
I've never seen something quite like that. I've never seen so much momentum be switched that quickly. Like Westfield, you got a touchdown, and then you get the fumble recovery, and then Magliacano on the very first offensive play gets rid of all of that and gives the ball right back to St. Joe's.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of coaches right on top of us. So as soon as that interception was taken, the whole press box started shaking a little bit. And man, was that a special interception or what?
What an incredible play, and I'm sure the call was a little bit jammed up here. But yeah, in case you didn't know, Christian Magliacano got the interception off of the D line, I might add, which is hugely impressive, and got a decent return of about 25 yards as St. Joe's is set up on the Westfield 47.
Man, if that wasn't a jolt of energy, then I don't know what is. That what an answer to that fumble for Westfield.
And Jeremy DeCaro looked like he kind of got an early start there, but nothing called, and he makes the catch for St. Joe's. Good game. About 4 or 5. It's going to be 3rd and 7 for the Falcons on the Westfield 44.
So now if you're Westfield, you got to be really careful to let the Falcons score. Because I think if the Falcons score here, that's a shot to their mindset, and that would be game in my opinion.
Especially a first down here will be massive for the Falcons and detrimental for Westfield.
DeGennaro.
It's not what's going to happen though. It'll be a good rush of about 3 or 4 by Daniel DeGennaro.
Yeah, and I like DeGennaro not forcing anything there. We saw last time what happened when he forces it to a guy.
Looks like it will be a punt for St. Joe's.
Youssef comes into punt.
Looks like Hughes said there's going to be into punt, and he's had a great day special teams wise, but giving the ball right back to Westfield is not ideal right now for St. Joe's, especially only leading by 3 points.
It's a good chance to pin him deep, though, and he will not. It was a botched kick. It's going to go right out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So Huseth has had a good game so far, but that is a rough punt there for the Falcons. And Westfield is going to be at the 25-yard line instead of where they really should be, which is inside their own 10.
Yeah, and Houston just choked a little bit under pressure there. I mean, leading only 3, they really needed a boot out of him. And now Westfield has a really good chance to go and score, and that really changes the outcome of this game possibly.
So 9 minutes left to go. St. Joe's leads 10-7 here in Westfield. It's a 3 wide receiver set for Trey Brown in this offense. Yet another handoff to Rag.
Nobody there. Nobody.
And the St. Joe's run defense, really one of the first times we've seen them not prepared and kind of get beat on a rush.
Yeah, and looks like the line is crumbling a little bit under pressure. And if you're the Falcons, you got to really lock in and really get one more stop here because, one stop is all you need to really change this game at this point.
And I think it could just be sheer exhaustion because, you see how many of the players on the field right now are also playing on offense. So late in the fourth quarter, this is kind of what you expect to see. Trey Brown on the design rush.
Takes it to the 39-yard line. Now Westfield.
First down for Westfield. They're going to continue to work their way.
I'm not there.
Trey Brown on the handoff to Rag. Dylan Rag. Another good ball there for Westfield.
Javon Hudson.
First and 10.
Jeremy DeCaro on the tackle, but not before Westfield gets the first down there. And now we're seeing some energy on this Westfield sideline. And St. Joe's is going to have to watch out for that.
Yeah, and like I said, ever since that interception in the third quarter, it just turned massively for Westfield.
And it seems like Magliacano's interception was going to turn it right back around, but unfortunately, Westfield already with the ball after that interception. Trey Brown, another read option, and another first down for the Blue Devils.
Brown again.
Now at the St. Joe's 37-yard line.
So we saw the Falcons really be able to lock down that run, but ever since the Westfield team has been going a little bit more pass heavy, that run has also opened up for them, and you got to be really scared of that if you're the Falcons.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering before where Trey Brown got these 218 rushing yards with how St. Joe's was locking him up in the backfield whenever he tries to rush, but now we're kind of seeing the athleticism he has, and now he's starting to add to that rush total. Rag on the rush. It's going to be a decent gain, about 2 or 3 yards. So a good stop in sense of how this drive is going for St. Joe's.
Tackled by Campanella.
Just about 7.5 minutes left to go. St. Joe's still leads by 3. Westfield on the St. Joe's 35-yard line. It's going to be a timeout by the Falcons, which is probably a much-needed timeout. And we will also take a timeout and a short break.
So Ben, after that first half, I really was convinced that this Westfield team was not as good as the numbers said they were, but after that passing opened up for them and the coach decided to go more pass heavy, I can really see why this Westfield team is 3-1.
Yeah, the handoff by Rag is going to be about a couple yards. But yeah, the first half, I was thinking like either St. Joe's is like one of the best teams in Jersey, or Westfield were just like frauds. But now I'm starting to see where that 3-1 record comes in and how they got all those shutouts. Because defensively, if we're being honest, St. Joe's has 10 points, which is not impressive, and it's very impressive for the Westfield defense. But this offense starting to come alive a little bit, and that's why we have such a close game.
Yeah, and the Falcons have been, really passive in this half so far, and maybe it's time to go more pass heavy with DeGennaro.
10 more yards.
Passive to pass heavy, I like that. Hopefully St. Joe's does too. That's another rushing first down for Trey Brown.
Gordon made the tackle. His first and 10 Blue Devils at the 23-yard line.
Just about 6.5 minutes left to go now. Blue Devils still trail the Falcons by 3 points, 10-7. St. Joe's leads. Trey Brown with a 3 wide receiver set. Brown the snap to hand off to Rag.
That's shut
Swallowed
down.
up by Almasi and Andre Gordon.
Brought down by Marcella.
Yeah, and I've been saying this so many times, but Almasi is such a pivotal piece in this defense. He's just all over those running plays in the backfield multiple times a game.
Yeah, he was the tackle leader in the first few games for St. Joe's. You just see him fly around the field, not really making those big like sacks or interceptions, but just constantly stopping plays on the defensive side. Brown going to be under pressure, and it's going to be a sack by Magliacano, but a flag is on the field. Going to be a holding against Westfield, so that'll be a sack for Christian Magliacano, who has had an incredible day for the Falcons so far.
Yeah, and maybe this is the stop we were talking about the Falcons needing, and if this does pan out to be no score for Westfield, that really again puts the momentum back in St. Joe's field.
That really could be a very underrated play in this game. It wasn't even that far of a loss on the sack, but now it's a 2nd and 11, 5 minutes and 45 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. St. Joe's leads by 3, and Westfield is going to be on their own 40-yard, on the St. Joe's 40-yard line.
Yeah, and they started putting Dylan Campanella in more, and he's really one of those run stuffers for St. Joe's, and he's already has a couple tackles.
And so, Keth, unless it's a dire situation, 4th and very long, is this going to be constant 4-down territory for the Blue Devils?
I don't think so. It's really risky in my opinion, especially considering how far they are from that first down category. But you never know, especially with that one play Rag had in the first half where they fake punted it. When you have so many threats on the field, there's a lot of things you can do.
And it was a decent pass there. Completion about 5 yards. But it's going to be a 3rd and 22 after that holding penalty. So really, if St. Joe's can make a stop here, that'll do a lot for the Falcons for the rest of this game. So a massive play here for the Blue Devils. Brown looking deep. Brown under pressure. And the deep ball is complete for Westfield.
And Magliacano almost had him, and that would have really solidified for St. Joe's that the game might have been over.
Yeah, he was facing massive pressure by the D-line. But Westfield and Trey Brown with a deep ball completion for the touchdown. It's a 13-10, possibly 14-10 lead now for the Westfield Blue Devils with just 5 minutes left to go in the game.
And I was convinced Magliacano was going to take him down right there and then, and that's really a huge play in this game. And if the Falcons don't come back and score here, that is definitely going to be game.
So Westfield takes their first lead of the game here late in the fourth quarter. St. Joe's is going to be set to receive, and we're going to take a short break and be back for the St. Joe's offensive drive. Both teams going to set for the kickoff
Marching
here
Blue
by Dylan Ragg.
Devils.
Yeah, and Ben, back to that play when it's 3rd and 22. How does that happen? How do you let multiple receivers be wide open in the end zone?
We're gonna watch the touchback, but yeah, I think sometimes on those really long 3rd down plays, you kind of have two options. You can kind of bring some heat and hope you get to the quarterback before he can chuck the ball deep, or you can really drop like 4, 5, 6 guys back. And that time it looks like St. Joe's brought some heat and it couldn't get there in time. And Brown made the pass before they got there, and that is why Westfield has the lead in this game, 14-10.
Yeah.
So the St. Joe's offense has 5 minutes from their own 20-yard line to score a touchdown and win this game. And some of the fans are finally getting some energy in them on the Westfield side.
Yeah, and that was swallowed up right there.
Hey, start thinking about your play action game too.
Yeah, we were kind of curious on why this was the game of the week by My Central Jersey. But it's starting to see. I mean, St. Joe's could have a game-winning drive here, down 4. So this really has turned out to be an incredible game here in Westfield.
Yeah, and I've said this all game, but the way that St. Joe's Falcons use misdirection in the backfield, it might be time to start, going to some more passes, and obviously they're going to go with one here.
DeGennaro looks to Huntley. Pass is complete to Huntley. And he'll be tackled after a very short gain, if any. 3rd and long for St. Joe.
Short gain on the play again. 3rd down and 5.
3rd and 5 for the Falcons. And Saketh, for me, I always was never a big fan of throwing short of the sticks, especially on 3rd and 4th down. Do you think you're able to do that with the playmakers you have on this St. Joe's team, or do you have to throw it past the sticks?
I mean, obviously a big part of this scheme is play action and screen passes, but there's a lot of field that St. Joe's has to make up, and they can ill afford to give up the ball again now. So I think they got to start taking shots, and they got to start leaning on DeGennaro to make plays.
DeGennaro's going to have to make a big play right here. It's a 3 wide receiver set for the junior, and a flag on the field. Looks to be against St. Joe's. Delay of game against the St. Joe's offense.
5-yard penalty.
Is going to move them back 5 yards. So that 3rd and 5 turned into a 3rd and 10. And now you're forced to air it out. You have no choice but to throw this ball. So DeGennaro going to have to make a massive play here for the Falcons.
Yeah, and I'm looking at DeCaro and Maglicano to be his main targets. Obviously, Maglicano is a bigger target, and we've seen him have a special connection with him down the field earlier this year.
Maglicano looks to be alone on that left side, guarded by one corner. DeGennaro looks for him. Daniel DeGennaro looks to air it out. DeGennaro under some pressure. DeGennaro passes up and incomplete to Amari Jones, to
Dre's holding his knee.
Jeremy DeCaro. Andre Gordon is down on the field holding his right knee. Flag is on the field as well.
Yeah, you gotta hope that's a not a big injury. He's told me before freshman year that he tore his ACL before, so hopefully it's not that, and hate to see that.
Yeah, St. Joe's is used to dealing with cramps at this point, but you just hope it is a cramp, not something that has to do with the knee, but we'll probably find out soon enough. So it's just going to be an injury amount for Andre Gordon, and we're going to take a short break.
They're going to pick that flag up. No penalty on the play.
So Andre Gordon is able to walk off the field. Looked like it was a cramp, and the refs also picked up the flag. So no flag on the play. It's going to be a 4th and 10 for St. Joe's, and they are in the punt formation.
Yeah, and I think if you're punting now, the only way you could get back into this is an immediate 3 and out for Westfield. So they're gonna have to heavily lean on this Falcons defense right now, and they need to come up with a stop like they have in the first half.
And that Huseth punt is a good one. Going to place Westfield and their offense at about their own 27-yard line. But yeah, St. Joe's has 2 timeouts, so maybe you don't have to get a 3 and out, but it certainly would help in terms of clock management. So this St. Joe's defense and the Westfield offense going to head down to the field, and Siketh, I think 2 or 3 first downs here would end the game.
Yeah, St. Joe's desperately needs a 3 and out and a stop. Obviously, the guys on the edge, Dan Bellavia, Ben Masella, Christian McLachlan, are going to be needed to make a huge play.
The rush there is swallowed up immediately. That's going to be a tackle for loss for St. Joe's. It's going to be a player down. Or it looks like Mary Connor was able to get up on his own power, and Amari Jones is going to head on to the field.
He actually is not going to be on the field. He's just on there for a water break.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I had my hopes up there. I thought because he was starting safety this entire year, but looks like he's just going to head on for the water. Maybe give him a pep talk. The St. Joe's defense going to head back on. 2nd and 11 for Westfield on their own 28-yard line. Could be expecting another run here, but I would not be shocked to see a pass again.
Yeah, like you said, a couple first downs would end the game. So
it's going to be a read option there for Brown.
He has some room.
Has some decent room.
Brought down by DeCaro.
Hey man, these dudes are hilarious with these spots.
3rd down and 4.
3rd and 4 now for Westfield. And Siketh, you think if they get a couple yards here, this could be 4-down territory? Or is that just way too risky, especially with the lead?
I mean, when you're leading only 14-10, I really don't like the idea of going for it. But if you're Westfield, you're looking to pin the Falcons down or deep in their own territory.
Going to be 2.5 minutes on the clock. Trey Brown. It's going to be a design quarterback run.
He has some
and
room.
It'll be a first down after the run by Trey Brown.
9 more yards.
And that is detrimental
to
this St. Joe's team. First down for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and it looked like that was Josh Styles to bring him down again. It's his first game really playing defensively, and you got to hope that Falcons are going to make a stop here, or else that's ball game.
Yeah, like I said, they didn't require a 3 and out, but it definitely hurts that it took 3 plays to get that first down because that just drains so much clock. So a 3 and out here now is necessary. A turnover is really maybe the only saving grace now for St. Joe's. Trey Brown going to head out on the field. Brown, hand off to Rag. It's a good gain there for Rag, about 3 yards. It's going to be at the dead center 50-yard line. Another timeout for St. Joe's. That is their last of the second half, and we'll take a short break.
Second down and
Both
5.
teams going to head out on the field, and Saketh, I really the energy on both sidelines kind of swapped comparing it to the first half.
Yeah, and we said this before, but that interception was really the source. That was really where Westfield's sideline really got amped up, and I think, in an away game that's super important, and especially with how many more players Westfield has, fatigue is really important in this game.
So they're ticking now at 1:15 on this 3rd and 4 after the QB sneak by Brown. And Saketh, I found it a little weird how Trey Brown, obviously we saw the rushing stats coming into this game, but we really didn't see that rushing from him in the first half. But this second half, with that rushing, that's really what won them the game in Westfield.
Yeah, and I think that really opened up because they came into the half with a little bit more of a passing attack, and really when he connected with this guy 84 down the middle, those rushing lanes also opened up for him.
Yeah, it was almost like St. Joe's got so focused on the pass game and defending Rag that Westfield was able to kind of use Trey Brown's rushing attack to their advantage because St. Joe's hadn't seen it the entire first half, and now.
What is the play clock? No, I know that. I'm saying like for a play. You get a play.
This is an official right here.
So after that break from the timeout, we are back. 49 seconds on the clock, 3rd and 3 for Westfield. St. Joe's could technically get the ball back here, but they're going to need to stop.
Guilty conscience to say that's official.
And a knee from Trey Brown. So interesting that they didn't even want to attempt to get the first down here. That is not the end of the game, though, despite them taking a knee.
R49 though. 4th and 6.
There's 30 seconds left on the clock, so with St. Joe's not having any timeouts left, if they do take another knee, that could very well be the end of the game.
Well, no, it is 4th and 6, though. It would not. Yeah, St. Joe's definitely going to have to get the ball back because the time would stop after a 4th down.
Yeah, I don't understand. Whoa.
Give me a timeout at 7 seconds. We'll likely see a punt. So unless we get a punt return touchdown to Kath, I think this might be it for the Falcons.
I mean, don't put it past them, but obviously chances are looking really, really, really slim right now.
And if St. Joe's does get on offense, let's say a fair catch or a touchback, do we see a deep shot from the Falcons, or maybe we just do a short pass to a guy like Huntley or DeCarlo and play the lateral game?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a screen pass or maybe something to get a lot of yardage, but we really have to see what Westfield does with the ball now. They really well could just take a shot down the field or something, or easily could just eat the clock, the time off the clock.
And something interesting here is that the offense for Westfield and the defense for St. Joe's are on the field. I think maybe what we could be seeing, maybe Trey Brown takes a snap and just runs just straight backwards to waste the clock down.
I very well could be.
He should, but they're going to run a play, and that'll run out the clock. Trey Brown, 0 seconds left. Trey Brown, really the X factor here for Westfield in the second half. Scored all their points in the second half. It is a 14-10 victory for the Blue Devils. So for myself and for Saketh Kodori, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next Friday for the first ever Friday Night Lights game at the Brenner Family Field. Thanks for watching.